In this video, I'm going to tell you about the 5 best peripherals you can get to completely upgrade your remote school experience. Hi, my name is Dave Copley. I'm a technologist and a parent, and for the last few weeks I've been bringing you a series of technology top tips, all designed to try and help take the stress out of your remote schooling. This week I wanted to introduce you to what I think are the 5 best peripherals that you can use that will completely upgrade your remote schooling experience. Let's check them out. Okay, so let's start with the really easy stuff. If your kids are at home learning on a tablet or a phone, odds are they're probably balancing that tablet or phone on their laps or against your coffee mug or whatever it might be. That's not great for a number of reasons, mostly because it means they'll spend most of their lessons wobbling the tablet or phone around to get the right angle. Well, for about £7 to £10, you can pick up any one of these kinds of tablet or phone stands. Really, really helpful. Just a super simple way to put your phone or your tablet in a stable way so the kids can focus on their learning and less about whether the tablet's going to fall over. Okay, so sticking with kids who are learning at home on tablets or phones. Those devices are great for younger kids, especially sort of Key Stage 1 early years where that touch interface is really intuitive and accessible for them. But as your kids start to get older, you'll realise that the lack of a proper physical keyboard is going to start to hold them back, especially as they start to need to put more words into their schoolwork, into the technology. Now, you don't need to rush out and buy a laptop or a Chromebook, although those things are good too. What you can do is buy one of these. It's kind of a halfway house. It's a Bluetooth keyboard. And it will work with Android, it will work with iOS, so whatever your tablet or phone is, it will work. And it just enables you to put a proper physical keyboard in front of the device. This one actually is brilliant because it even has a stand for your tablet or your phone, so it's kind of 2-in-1. But it just sets your kid up to be able to interact with the technology in a much more efficient way. Now, this next one might seem a bit odd, and actually in a way it's kind of more for us parents than it is for the kids, but this is a wireless display adapter, and what it does is it enables me to display the information from a computer screen, a tablet, a laptop, Chromebook, whatever it might be, onto the big TV at home. Now look, the reason where this comes in handy is quite often my son will, for example, when he's doing his homework, I say, "Oh Dad, could you help me on this bit?" Now, partly it's because I've reached that certain age where I can't see things, my glasses aren't strong enough, but I find sitting around his device is a bit hard for me to sort of interact with and understand, and we're all huddled around that. It's okay if you've got to do it, but with one of these devices, it just means I can beam his screen to the front room TV, and then I can start to look and we can both look together. It's also great if he has an assembly, if he needs to sit back and watch a lesson rather than interact with. Now look, this is a wireless one. You don't need to be wireless. You could plug in an HDMI cable. You know, you may need a dongle though if you're doing that from a tablet or phone. That's a little cable adapter that will cost you about £10 or £15. This wireless display adapter is about £30 to £40. But it's just a really simple way of getting stuff from the small screen to the big screen so that you can interact together. It sort of eases the interaction. Makes a big difference if you're trying to do homework together, for example, or you're trying to school multiple kids on the same lesson at the same time. One of the experiences your kids are enduring, just like I guess for those of you that work in offices are doing the same, is essentially they've now got back-to-back video calls throughout the day. And if you're that kind of person working in that kind of world, you know how stressful that is. You also know how tiring that is. And I found in our experiences a couple of really simple things you can do just to ease the burden, make the experience a little bit better for your kids, but also for you. The first is really simply this: invest in a headset if you haven't done already. A headset means a couple of things. One, it's a bit easier for your kid to hear and be heard, so that's really important. Secondly, if you're all working in a shared space, it doesn't mean then you've got competing lessons all the time. So, and these are pretty simple. You can buy them for less than a tenner. Of course, you can buy wireless ones, they get a bit more expensive, but it's a really easy way to help your kids interact with the lessons in a really useful way. But the next place I wanted to show you, this is really pushing the boat out a little bit, but this is a USB speakerphone. And one of the things I found, certainly, I mean, I did this in the world of work, never mind doing it in homeschooling, is actually having a better speaker and a better microphone, something that actually projects the sound a lot more clearly, really eased the cognitive burden on me. And I've certainly seen the same in my son. So these devices are a bit more expensive. They're about £80. But what it does mean is it gives you full physical control over the call. So for example, there's a physical mute mute button, if you've ever had those moments racing to find the mute button. It's a really good speaker, so you don't have to have it really loud to hear it. You can hear it quite well. And it also has a sort of complicated microphone that just does a much better job of echo cancelling and all that sort of stuff. It's a great device. I appreciate it's a little bit expensive. It does change the game, it really does. And actually, if you're sat at home on calls as well, they've been great for your work. So I'd certainly recommend those either for you or for your kids. Again, the other drawback, apart from being expensive, is if you've got multiple kids learning at the same time in the same space, it's not going to work for you. This is really about individuals and really giving them better audio quality, both input and output, for the lessons that they're enjoying. The final device I want to talk to you about is actually my favourite of all of the other peripherals we've talked about today. And it's simply because it allows you to bring in pen input to your computer, regardless of whether you've got a laptop, a Chromebook or a traditional PC. And it saves you from having to buy one of those right-on devices if you don't need to. And it's simply a tablet. This is a tablet that your child will use. So it requires a little bit of hand-eye coordination. So there's a little bit of a learning curve, but once you get used to it, it kind of works pretty well. And it just means that your kid can be looking at the screen, and on your screen will be a worksheet, and your kid, rather than print it out and write on and go through that whole process of scanning it and getting back to the school, your kids can just write on the tablet and it will appear on screen, and then you submit it electronically. It's particularly handy for examples like this. So this is just a maths worksheet. It's me doing some maths homework, and you know, writing a formula for any of the sciences or maths is actually a bit tricky when you try to do it on a keyboard. A lot more sensible when you're doing it with a pen, a lot more intuitive. And once again, it saves you from all of that hassle of printing. You can keep everything digital, get it straight back to school to be marked, and they're not too expensive either. They're about £60 for a device like this. They obviously get a bit more expensive if you get bigger ones, but this is a small one, and actually this is perfectly fine for most of the stuff that your child's going to do. So there you go. Those are my 5 best peripherals for transforming your remote schooling experience. I hope you found that helpful. If I've missed a device that you use and I haven't mentioned, but it's been really helpful to you, I'd love to hear about it. Let us know in the comments below. That would be absolutely fantastic. So I've been Dave Coplin. You've been absolutely wonderful. I'll be back again soon with another remote school technology top tip. Thanks for joining.